Welcome to Reunite with Self podcast. I'm your host, Rukan. Here, we will be discovering and unraveling what is truly holding you back. We will put the puzzle together and give you clarity on how and what you can do to create massive shift in your life so you start creating the life you always envisioned for yourself. There is no more waiting. Whether it is liberating from dysfunctional family patterns or parenting tools and tips that actually make the difference, we will be diving into the truth and core of things that are simple and which yet no one talks about. I will be sharing with you all the things that would have changed my life massively if I heard any one of these episodes. A new world is awakening, and true bliss, harmony, and peace is possible on this earth. And my mission is to bring you closer to that, one step at a time. In this safe space, I will hold your hand and give you courage and certainty that you can shift anything and everything in your life. It is time we break the pattern. Whether you want to be the parent you never had or make a shift in your life so you don't play small any longer, you will find the support and guidance in this space. My intention is for you to find answers within yourself while you listen to this podcast, so you feel the bliss of reuniting with your true essence, with self, with so much love and compassion and courage. From my heart to yours, let's keep it rockin'. My gorgeous listener, welcome to another episode on Reunite with Self. I'm so happy you're here. Happy New Year. It's the first episode of the new year. So excited to begin a new year. I know it's going to be a next level for the podcast this year, as it is going to be the second year of the podcast, exactly second year now. And I have decided to start the year fresh, clean, exciting, and with some intention. And I wanted to create a roadmap, which I was inspired to do a couple of months ago. I was taking notes, but I didn't created this roadmap, but I sat down, created it today, and I want to share with you every week one step of the journey of making something happen. So I think this can apply to anything really, anything you want to make happen in your life, whether it be a habit that you want to create in your life or just the way you live, maybe the way you want to create boundaries in your life, anything really, if anything you want to change in your life. And also, obviously, if it's something specific that you want to create, whether it be about your work, your business, your career, your creativity, anything that you put your mind into and you want to create that, this roadmap is going to be very powerful. And I want to note now, if you're listening to the first step today, which you are, you don't have to listen to them, all of them before you, listen to one of the next steps. You can start anywhere, whether if you start from, let's say, step 3, because that week that was live and you're listening to that episode, it's going to be so motivational and inspirational and just activating and empowering for you. And it's going to be something that you will be able to implement whatever things going on in that moment for you. I'm sure it's going to be still very clear for you, and always everything happens for a reason. So I'm sure it's going to be perfect timing. But if you started listening to the first one now, whether on time or later in the month or later in the year, just please listen to the 12 steps and you can go back to them whenever you need some kind of just empowerment and reminder. And I think these kinds of episodes, or anything really I create on the podcast, but these kinds of roadmaps, which I'm going to do 12 steps, one step each week. I think when I listen to things like this, what it provides me the most is I get super inspired. Like I get so many juicy ideas, thoughts, things like actions I want to take that will move the needle for me, or just some solution to anything that's happening that's like bothering me in the moment, whether it be like relational or just action step for anything in my life, my work, my house, or anything. I think this stuff is like super empowering and very inspirational in that sense. Like when I listen to the podcast like this or episodes like this, I get inspired, and I get ideas that I should implement or do or take action on like right away on whatever is happening in my life in that moment to move the needle for me. So I hope I will provide that for you as well, or whatever you need in your journey, or like anything else I'm not mentioning. So let's begin the 12 steps of journey of making it happen, making anything happen. And also we can call this 12 steps of self-actualization journey as well. But right now I'm going to call it 12 steps of the journey of making it happen. Maybe I began the episode going right into it because I want to keep it short, sweet, powerful, these 12 step journeys. I will be intentional to keep them shorter than my hour-long episodes for sure, as much as possible, just to, be the first step in that moment for you. And then you just go on with your life and implement whatever is necessary in the moment. And just behind the scenes, it's obviously like after New Year's when I'm recording this on a Wednesday evening, and the episode will go live tomorrow morning on Thursday. Every Thursday we have new episodes, and this year I have a lot of new things that I want to do with you. I want to share with you, and I want to be there to give you the service so that you truly apply all the things that we talk about here. And as you know, I'm always open to new topic suggestions. You can always reach out to me on my Instagram at Kevela. It's in the show notes. It's my goddess wear brand. I don't have a separate Instagram right now for this podcast because I have a lot of Instagram accounts for my different work. So you can reach me from there. I share things about the podcast on there as well. And yeah, this is going to be very powerful. And I just want to say, this year I'm going to be getting more personal with my life as well, and my journey of what I have been really changing in my life in the last 2 years. I've tremendously changed my life, and just came into so much empowerment in my life, and I've taken huge steps, very courageous steps in my life, and changed the whole really trajectory of my life in the last 2 years. And so I'll be sharing with you more of those, but in the meantime, I guess I'm here the teacher of what I need to learn the most, and that's what I'm sharing all of this with you. And I always realize that I'm just beginning, that there is so much more to learn. And I've had, to be honest with you, I've had very challenging moments and experience right around New Year's, like right before that. But I know this is like what I feel. 2024 is going to be a very powerful and a fabulous year for a lot of highly sensitive individuals. So it's like, with my experience, I get to become more wise. It's like burning in the flame to become more wise. And I was just thinking of this today. I am willing to do the hard things. I am always going to be willing to do the hard things, because this is the only way that I truly get to change my life. and I'm willing to do the hard things. So behind the scenes, behind the curtains, I'm going through my own challenges. I'm learning a lot from them. And I know this is like, there is great content coming because I feel like I'm going into my next level, but whoa, it's not easy. It's not easy at all, but I'm so grateful for everything life gets to offer, because when I look back at 2023, it was a year that truly changed my life. Like I truly changed my life in 2023, like all throughout that year. And I'm going to be sharing with you everything that I implemented in my life in the last 2 years that really, truly, truly changed my life to another level. Okay. So I just wanted to share this with you just to tell you that I'm going to get more personal this year for sure. So telling you more of the stories I went through and how I made these changes more specifically, because I am out of some of them, but I'm going through other things. And and I just wanted to tell you, just because I started doing these things doesn't mean that I've done it. I've done my journey and I am just on a different path now and I don't have any challenges. I think, like, obviously when you go to the next level, I think sometimes problems get even bigger and deeper, but you are experiencing that because you're ready for it now. So it's just different. It's a different kind of difficulty. It's still challenging, but you are not abandoning yourself this time. Like you don't feel the same feelings that you used to feel. I don't know. For me, like 5 years ago or 3 years ago, I'm not abandoning myself anymore. So it's very challenging because I see things more clearly. So it's even more hurtful. Like you truly see what someone is doing to you, like even more precisely, clearly, and how it's like so contrasting. Like it has a huge contrast to what you would do to them or how you would not do those things to them. Like it's so clear for you, and that contrast creates that higher pain. But I'm willing to feel all of that. As you know, I'm a big believer in feeling. Like we have to feel it to heal it, and I live my emotions big. I am a highly sensitive person. And if you're listening to this, you're probably a highly sensitive person as well. At least you haven't like closed your heart. So you're still highly sensitive. Instead of maybe choosing the path of being a narcissist and not feeling that empathy for others, especially on the things that you cause. So I'm going through my own stuff that is like on a different layer of my life. But I'm willing to do the hard things. I know I'm going to learn so much from it because I am experiencing it. And in that darkness, if it's darkness or challenge, I will find the gold and I will share with you. And I will be giving you a better service with everything that I learned this year as well. But this year, 2024, is going to be an epic year for a lot of highly sensitive people. The only thing we need to do is just to be on our path. We just have to remind ourselves to come back to our path and be on our journey. This is very important. The only thing that is necessary is like not to be sidetracked. And I mean like falling into the matrix or whatever you used to do before. Just being on your path. I'm not saying you have to be very like taking actions every single day in this way or that way. Just not abandoning yourself, being committed to not abandon yourself like you used to. And then every moment or every year or every whatever in time, we just get to the next level. So it's even more embodied. We are acting from a more powerful place when we start implementing these. So, long intro, second intro. So let's get into it. The first step of the 12 steps of the journey of making it happen, whatever it is that lies in your heart, whatever you want to create, whatever you want to start, whatever you want to grow, whatever you want to accomplish, succeed, whatever it is, your incredible life, the vision that you have in your heart and your soul. The first step, my gorgeous listener, is something that you're familiar with if you've been listening to me, to my podcast. The non-negotiable step that you will always go back to, especially when you are going through challenges. And these challenges usually contain other people, like your relational stuff, the dynamics. It usually contains other people, some way, whether if it's work, family, your romantic life, your parenting, whatever it is. The first step of this 12-step journey to making anything happen, to create true change in your life, sustainable change in your life, to get to the next level, to start doing all the things that you haven't been doing or you haven't been creating in an embodied way, or the things you haven't started results yet. All the things you want to create, the first step is to create clarity. And when I say clarity, as you know, I'm not talking about just or only about the clarity on what you want to create or accomplish or go to. Yes, that's a non-negotiable as well. Like that's something that maybe you don't know exactly what's happening, but you get to see a scene, like a 1-second scene or a 3-second scene from your future life. Yes, that's amazing. That will be a deeply rooted why that will, keep you on your path for sure. But when I say creating clarity, that really truly changed my life, is all the family stuff. Because what I have realized in my life journey of experiencing my own life, witnessing and experiencing other people's, not experiencing myself, but, like being next to them or being around them, of other people in my family circle, in my friends circle, in any circle that I get to know on one-on-one, and then the other people that I have met through my life journey, like thousands of people that I have met in my journey, is what I realized is if you are not at a place in your life, or if you are not in the path of creating your incredible life, the only thing that stops you today, and this might be bold and a lot of people might not agree with it, but this is what I have gained, the wisdom I have gained in my life journey. No matter where you are from, no matter what your ethnicity, whatever, education background, whatever background you come from, it doesn't matter. What I've seen over and over again, what stops people from creating their incredible life or being on the path of creating their incredible life or of self-actualization. If someone is not doing the things that they are feeling fulfillment with, or if they are not in the journey of creating the life that they believe in, or if they're not doing the things that they believe in, if they're spending their day doing things that they don't believe in, or if they're feeling any kind of emptiness, dullness, frustration, whatever it is. If they're not, when you see a person, you see their potential, but you see them, I can think of myself too, like for sure, until 2 years ago, I can say this to myself with compassion so much, and for so many other people. When you look at this gorgeous person, they have so much potential. Like just as an individual, as a soul, they have so much potential, but they have not even started their journey yet. Like they're not taking the steps to get to that level, how they spend their day, no matter what it looks like. They're not getting the results in any area of their lives or some areas of their lives. The thing that would really fulfill them, the thing that will elevate them to a level so that they can give back to the community, so they can give their service, which will really fulfill them mostly. If you see anyone like this, if you know anyone like this, it all boils down to the family stuff, the limiting beliefs about yourself mostly, and then about life and about work and how to make money and how to be in good relationships or whatever it is. All the things, all the limiting beliefs that did not even belong to that individual, but that came with, air quotes, good intentions from their family. And firstly, of course, their caregivers, parents, whoever brought them to the world or whoever raised them. First parents, then siblings, and then grandmothers, grandfathers, like whoever was around them when they were growing up, the relatives. And then we can talk about the school teacher, the neighbor, this or that, or a friend. But first, always it comes from their closest circle. Always comes from family, and whatever is keeping you today from not self-actualization is not something that comes from deep inside of you. It comes from the stuff that you were exposed to since you were born. So it's always comes from family with good intentions, in air quotes, most of the time, if not always. So the first step of this 12-step journey is creating clarity on what has stopped you so far. What are all the limiting beliefs, especially about yourself, that never belonged to you in the first place, that came from your father, your mother? Maybe different things, maybe from both of them. I'm going to be more specific this year. What came from your brother? What came from your sister? Older, younger, doesn't matter. And then what came from your relatives, your uncles, aunts, grandparents, whoever was around you, your cousins, nephews, whatever, name it, any relative. But first, always parents and then siblings. What has stopped you so far? What are all the limiting beliefs that did not even belong to you? And those limiting beliefs are the ones that are especially about you yourself, and then about life and other things that has stopped you. That maybe you took the actions. That was my case. I was taking actions. I was taking a lot of actions, and they seemed very courageous. I was doing so many things, but I was in the same place over and over and over again, or I was going backwards, or whatever it was. It did not seem like I was sitting in the corner waiting for life to happen. I was waiting for life to happen, but it seemed as if I was doing the things. So it was even more self-sabotaging in a way because it was so hidden. So it doesn't matter if you're taking the steps or not taking the steps or whatever your situation is. If you don't feel like you are on your path to create your incredible life, if you don't feel that embodiment, that liberation, that, what can I call this? Like true liberation, true embodiment of who you truly are, and just stepping into life and being fully yourself, no matter what the day brings. And you fully know that, I get to not create my day today, but I showed up as myself, truly as myself. And I gave all of myself, and I was there present as myself, whatever the day was bringing me, or whatever it was. Like I took the actions that moves the needle. If you don't feel this way, it does not come from the limiting beliefs that were given to you. How can I say this? We carry things from our past lives and things like this. I believe in that so much as well, but they're always linked somehow with our parents. So if you just look at the parent stuff, you can solve everything. You can see everything and create the clarity. So I want you to be honest and be courageous to create the clarity for yourself. Always remembering, this helps a lot because I've seen what has stopped people, and me myself included, to creating that clarity is you feel guilty to, I talked about this on a previous podcast, 2023. It's this unspoken taboo around family stuff that's actually very conservative. It's very hush hush, and you're not supposed to talk, not even talk, like think that your parents might have done really bad things to you without it seeming that way. And it gives parents the total control over whatever they do. And just people walk around this earth doing whatever they want to their family members. And they just walk around on the earth and nobody knows, nobody sees. If they see something in their circle, it's so familiar, it comes all from fear of not losing that person and everything, that you're supposed to enable it and accommodate it and be silent about it and just go on with it, and so be exposed even more to it, which creates even deeper problems. And I have realized that the stuff that family members do to one another, especially the ones that are like systemic, like the things that really hurt you, are usually the things that are not happening for the first time. And that's why it hurts so much, because it's so familiar to you and you've been exposed to it for so long in so many ways, and in just the right way that it would work. And, with subtitles, I always say this, with subtitles, it always works more, especially on intelligent people. If it's with subtitles and not direct, it works direct as well. But if it's with subtitles, you might accommodate it longer. So people just go on with their lives like this. And I'm from Turkey, Middle East. So right now, narcissism in families is so common that it's just really crazy. And the reason that I do this podcast is, and I'm doing one in Turkish too, really my biggest intention with it, to like what would I want to activate in someone, is for this first step to create that clarity, because it was something that changed my life, like in a way that nothing would, in a massive way. And it was something that I did in maybe one of the darkest moments of my life. And I did it myself. I did not have any tools around me that would make me realize this or create this clarity. Like, yes, this person is being narcissistic with me. This person is saying all the right things to disempower me. Like, this is the thing that disempowers me. Like, this is actually the thing that works best. Like, nothing else would work to disempower me. This is exactly the thing that disempowers me. Like, when I think about all the things that they can say to me, if they call me, in my story, I'm talking about my story, because your story is some patterns, and the wound is created by certain people in your life. And then when they push that button, it just creates more and more pain, and you're in that loop. But you don't realize it's a pattern. It's done in a systematic way. It's done in a way that truly disempowers you and confuses you. What I want to say here is, when I created the clarity for myself, it was like, it was a line in the sand moment. Like, I knew that nothing would be the same ever again. It was as if I have woken up from a dream. It was so hurtful. It was so painful. And, I talk about this on many, many episodes, and I will always continue talking about that moment. You give up on the potentiality of that relationship. So you see that that person will never treat you the way you would treat them, will never show you the compassion, especially on the things that they cause themselves, will never believe in you the way you would believe in them, the way you respect them. They will never respect you. They will never be accountable as you would be accountable to them for your own mistakes to them. They will never be willing to repair as you would, like whatever it is, maybe all of the above. When you realize this, when you create the clarity, when you realize all of this, then there is a moment that you have to let go of that potentiality of what that relationship could be that lives in your head since you were a toddler. You always believe in that potentiality that never exists. But you keep that illusion, especially as you're a toddler, as you're a small child, to survive. That, they love me, they believe in me, they think I'm worthy, whatever it is, to survive. And then you keep on, when you keep on doing it as an adult, is the thing that keeps you in that playing small confusion state that you will never be able to self-actualize in a true way. So when you let go of that potentiality of that relationship, truly, like you truly see that it's never going to happen, that face, that side of them that might come out that you hoped for your entire life will never come out, especially on the times that is so natural for you, especially in moments that needs repair. I'll do another episode on this soon. But when you let go of that potentiality, there is a time of grief. You grieve it. You just grieve as if someone died. You grieve that. Because that potentiality of that mother, of that father, of that sister, of that brother is gone. It's not going to happen. You will never get that from them. You can always give that to yourself, and you ought to give it to yourself, and you get to give it to yourself, and you must give it to yourself, but it will never come from that person the way you wish, the way it's natural for you, the way maybe it's 1/10 of what you would give to them in empathy or compassion. But it's never going to come back. Even in moments that is you can't wrap your head around it. How can they not? They will do it this time. They will do it this time because they've hurt me so much. It was so obvious that what they've said is so hurtful, that it's so unacceptable. Every time you try to fight it back, explain yourself, expect the repair, it doesn't happen. And then it comes a point when you've had so much pain. This is what usually happens, that you experience so much pain back to back, then you have to realize that nobody's going to come and save you in that dynamic. Nobody is truly going to, maybe a few people. Now I get to call myself lucky enough to have these few people that, I don't have to report everything I've been through. They know the way I tell it. They know that it's not acceptable, that, I have to not enable that anymore. And whatever healthy boundary I want to create, they're there just to support me and not create any guilt or put me in fear that keeps me in the loop for 40 years. But you realize that you have to do it yourself. You don't need anyone's approval because you know the story. Because it's not, when you tell the story to someone, even if it's your therapist or someone, they have to be very intelligent to be able to support you in a true way. They have to be very good at what they do. And I don't mean it in a common therapist way. If they really truly know human behavior and human soul on a deep level, not from books, from the heart, maybe they would be able to support you. But the decision that you're going to make are not going to be conventional. It's going to take a lot of courage. It's going to take you to feel the fear, but still keep on doing it. And it's going to require this clarity. This clarity saves lives. Like, really, truly, it's like life and death. It's that the effect of narcissism, any kind of narcissistic abuse or behavior in family, creates the contrast of life and death for someone. Because if you're, I don't have to say this, but if you're someone, if you're not in the path of self-actualization, it's as if you are not living. And also, I think it's even more painful than death, because you are dying every single moment. And you're just witnessing that and just doing everything in the name of love and just feeling helpless and being in the same loop and being in anger and pain. And nothing changes and everything goes even worse. So that was a wake-up call for me, because everything was going so bad. And I had this near-death experience. And right after it, I had like so many different experiences that were like, it was as if God was telling me, do you want to live? Do you want to live and self-actualize? Do you want to go for the life that you've always dreamed of? I was a kid who would dream a lot. And do you want to live this life? Do you want to settle down for this and just be in pain and just do it in the name of love? Or do you want to self-actualize? Do you want to truly live your life? And so in the clarity stage, which is very powerful, and you do it alone. You do it yourself. And it's not bad. When I say alone, you do it by yourself. And because you don't abandon yourself anymore, you will never feel the loneliness that you felt in a crowd, because that's the worst kind of loneliness. You're around people that you love, that are supposed to not just love you. Love by itself is nothing. Love, true love, contains so much. It's not just, I love you because you're family. It's not just that. It's not just that. There are so many other things. There are things that you get to have and receive without even asking for it. It's just natural. It's just humane. So in the creating clarity, I want to think if I want to say anything else on this. So you give up on that potentiality, but for that, you need to understand what has been happening. What do you keep on hearing? Maybe when you want to stand up for yourself, when you want to create a healthy boundary, when you want to express your emotion, how you felt, how hurt you were when they said this or did this. What are you receiving back? What are you receiving when you're doing courageous with your life? Are they focusing on your life rather than themselves? Are they focusing on your path rather than being in their own path, knowing that there is so much to do in your path to be filling other one's cups? A lot of healing, a lot of realization, a lot of working on yourself so that you can be good to others. What are you hearing over and over again, especially with subtitles? Just the right way that it works. What are you experiencing over and over again that makes you feel worthless, not connected, not seen, not heard, not supported in a way that would make sense for you to support someone else if in that situation. Oh, and I was talking about you're going to do it alone, because no matter like how you want to tell the story, if the other person is not willing to understand you, they will not understand you. And you know, when you had narcissism in your life, your pattern is usually codependency, which sometimes looks like you reporting everything that has happened, you feeling that need. And you go in that state where you are asking and begging for the approval of the other person. Yes, this was something unacceptable, or this should have hurted a lot. This person was not allowed to do that. It's not their place. And yeah, I will create another episode after we do this 12-step journey. And please remind me if I don't, on what to do in those moments. Like, what does someone need to be supported when they have any narcissism in their family and they're asking for support to another family member? Like, what are you supposed to hear? What you get to hear if it's a loving relationship, and what we need to teach ourselves and others around us that are empathic so we get that support. And when you hear what you're supposed to, then you can identify why you're not feeling connected when you share your story or when you ask for support. So you can never tell. It's never that moment alone. And that's why you cannot fight a narcissist back, because they will come up with other weapons and they will make it even more painful when you're asking for an apology or repair. They will make it even more hurtful, like even more hurtful in a way that might seem to someone who is not that empathic or who hasn't, experienced that, or who doesn't want to change their lives, or who doesn't want to create that clarity for themselves because they're scared. They're not going to be able to identify and support you on that, because it's just going to seem as if it's only that moment, but it's never that moment only. It's that moment that hurts you so much because of everything that happened before and everything that didn't happen before. Like, everything that brought you to that moment is what makes that moment so hurtful. This is the truth about narcissism. So it's not that they only said this one thing about something you were being courageous to take that step, even if it's something very small, but it's something about you, your life. And they talk about it and they say things, and it's so hurtful and might create confusion and all the things, but it's never in that moment what they're saying creates that thing. It's what happened over and over and over again that they know so well as well, and they know that wound. So they come back to it to do the same thing, to make you feel helpless and disempowered, make you feel confused, so that you don't get to live from an empowered place, which creates all the change in your life. Like, that's why family stuff is so important. Like, that's how it stops you from your self-actualization. That's why it's so effective. Because what they take from you, and it's just temporary. You change it all. You take the power away from their hands into your hands, into yourself, back to yourself. But that's a process that we're going to be talking about here, but in this journey. But it's, you take that back, but through these process. It's what they do that creates all the things that stop you from your self-actualization. It's the thing that works the most. Like, nothing else would work better. It's like that what works for you. So it's time we completely stop minimizing our experience and what it's causing us. Like, what that person is saying is so unacceptable in that moment, in that journey, because you would never do the same thing to them if they were in that situation, given your past with them or their past as well. It's just unacceptable because it has a huge effect on people. And no matter what age people are, like maybe you hear a woman, 60-year-old woman, talking about something that they want to do. I don't know, start a podcast. It's something they're really excited to do, but they haven't taken the step yet. And they've been thinking about it for a year. They haven't taken any step, and they don't look like they're going to take any steps soon. They just talk about it. and they're like craving it. It doesn't have to be a podcast, by the way. It can be anything. But when you listen to that woman, like when you become like closer to them, when they trust you more, they might talk about a lot of things, but in the end, the deep root reason is maybe her sister has been telling her blah, blah, blah. Or their mother was like this, or their father was like this with them. It's like, why are we not calling it what it is? It does not make you a bad person. And I was saying this, creating clarity, what stops people from creating clarity is that they feel guilty, they feel the fear of losing the person, losing the relationship, blah, blah, blah. By the way, if you follow your heart, I was going to curse, if you follow your heart and your soul, you never lose anything. You never lose anything. You are a good-hearted person. You have to remember, you are a good-hearted person. You should never take any steps in the fear of losing someone. This is my belief. This is my thought. You should follow your heart and your soul. But in my life journey, what I have become so clear about is that I will never act from a place, it will never benefit me if I make any decisions, if I live from a place of fearing of losing someone, because I have a good heart. If I've been through a lot, that's why I've made the decisions now not to go through that anymore, because it's like life and death. I'm not going to let myself be in that anymore, because I was going to die. I wouldn't be on this earth. Nobody would know my story, my true deep story of like what happened. I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm going to be in my full power, full strength, full embodiment, full energy and full light, so I can create beauty in this world. This is the only way. And we should never take actions thinking I believe, to save a relationship. What happens is, this should not be in our head as a motivation, but I'm just telling you a result. When you follow your heart and your soul, if there's any potentiality of that relationship of becoming anything good, beautiful, not what you were hoping for in the beginning, but anything that's softer and just closer and some goodness to it, if there is any potentiality, it will come out from that, because you will not feel resentment to them, because you are not allowing them to do the same things now. So you can heal the past. This is the only way to heal the past, if you don't let them do those things to you today. And I'm telling this to myself as well. And at the end of it, you take the steps, and we're going to talk about the 12 steps, and your intention is never, I shouldn't lose this person from my life. But what's funny is that if you're going to have any kind of relationship with them, anything good, anything nicer, any kind of deeper or softer or more loving in any layer, it doesn't have to be like true deep love, but somewhere that is softer and more beautiful, whatever stage they are at in their life, with your freaking healthy boundaries, by the way. Like, you never give up on the healthy boundaries. Like, you're so freaking certain of that now. Like, that's like, no thanks. But the only way is through you following your heart and your soul and not giving any beep to if you will lose them or not. Because it will seem probably as if you will lose them if you do those things. But that's for another time. But creating clarity is super important. So I will just read you what I have written here to wrap this up, because I said I'm not going to do an hour long, but I think this is very powerful. What has accommodating and enabling and exposing yourself to this has truly cost you. This creates the clarity. What did it cost you until today? What could you have created if you put a stop to it long time ago? What could you have created so far, like right now, if you put an end to it long time ago, if you were not exposed to it, if you were not accommodating it, if you were not enabling it in the name of love, which everyone loves for you to do around you? Everybody loves that because it's their comfort zone. Nobody's going to come and tell you, like, this person is being narcissistic to you in your family, like where the family you come from. Nobody's going to tell this to you. This is the hard truth. But I hope that in time, in 2 years, 3 years, we're going to be able to hear this so that people get support, the support that they need. Because narcissism is like abuse. And narcissism comes in different colors. I was thinking about it, about this this week as well. Like, narcissism is not like the color range is not like from white to black. You know, the extreme narcissism. I don't believe in that. There's all sorts of narcissism. You know how I'm saying it? Just the way it works. They do whatever works best for you, whatever their technique is or whatever their weapon is. It's not that someone's white and someone's gray and someone's getting darker gray and then it's black. It's not like that. Narcissism, it can be a mother that's very different, an aunt very different, an uncle very different, a father very different, a sibling very different. It's different colors. So every color has its own thing. So none of the colors are more stronger than the others. It's just that they're different, but there's still a color. Or if you want to say black and white, like white can be very powerful. Black can be very powerful too. But I don't see it like that. I don't see it like a range of narcissism from white to black, because this stuff is very dangerous. That's why I don't like to call it this way, because what works, honey. It doesn't have to be black. It doesn't have to be like what the society calls extreme. It is super, super extreme. Even if they're green or orange or yellow, it's like super extreme because it works. It's abuse. It's what actually works. And what society might call extreme, you might have put a stop to it when you were 18. So that's how it's different. So I want to read this and I want to end it here for today, for this first very powerful step. And my gorgeous listener, I want to say this is so, I hope this episode is somehow activating for you. It's not easy. We can do hard things. Life gets easier when we do the hard things. Like, we start living life as ourselves with our own essence. We breathe, we smell, we eat, we taste, we touch, we live the life that is from ourselves, not through other people's perspective. We truly live our truth. What if the thing that will pump up your confidence, keep you in high state, keep you in your devotion with highest attraction, the thing that will empower you the most will be identifying what has been stopping you, and you not accommodating, letting, or exposing yourself to it anymore? What if this is the thing that will put you in the highest state and keep you be attracting all the things and giving you the power to do everything that you put your head into? What if when you stop enabling toxic behavior, whatever it is, what if when you stop enabling this is when you able yourself to your liberation and power and full embodiment? What if that's why it had been happening on a soul level? Makes me emotional. What if this is the reason why it had been happening on a soul level? because it was the thing that would be so difficult for you to acknowledge, create clarity on, and take the actions, because it is very different from what we learn about love and family and all the things. It's what we experience is not our truth. We know that. And we know so many people around us suffering from that. It's super clear to us. Maybe we don't see anyone happy around us, anyone living their fulfilled life. And we might be the first one in our lineage to start creating that, so that there is bliss and harmony for the next generations and for you as well, my love. So what if that's why it had been happening on a soul level? I love you so much. I'll see you next week on the second step of the journey of making it happen. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next week. My gorgeous listener, if you had any takeaways from this episode or from this podcast in general, I would love to know. Please share this episode with a few loved ones right now. You never know how they can benefit from something so small. And please take a screenshot of this episode and share on IG, tagging me at Khewella. That is Khewella. Khewella. That is my goddess wear brand, my Instagram page. I would love to know what your takeaway was, or something you found inspirational, or a confirmation you believe in as well. That would make my day. And you can always DM me if you have a topic or a certain question in mind that you want me to talk about. And give me a 5-star rating if you feel like it. That would help this podcast immensely to get the word out. I love you. See you on the next one. I want to see you shine your brightest.